I was 7 or 8 years old when this happened. During the time we were coming to Thailand from Laos. I wasn't quite sure exactly what I saw, but I thought it was weird. Anyhow, while we were in the jungles of Laos, we passed through a burial lot that was still pretty new. There were red and green sashes hung around the area. Some of the old folks said to not look at the cemetery and just pretend it wasn't there, or the spirit will follow you. I was scared, so I held my mom's hand tight and tried not to look at the cemetery. Even though I tried not to look, as a kid you're always curious. So I snuck a couple peeks at the cemetery. At first I didn't see anything, but the second time I saw a little Hmong girl standing next to the cemetery looking at us as we passed through. I didn't think anything of it because it was just a girl. I didn't look back to see if she was still there when we passed through, but had a strange feeling like someone was following us. My mom and I were somewhere in the middle of the pack, so I asked my mom, "Mom, did you see the girl at the cemetery?" She said, "No, did you something when we passed through that cemetery?" I told her that I saw a Hmong girl standing next to the grave. She then asked if I sensed the little girl's presence, and I told her yes. She told my dad that there was a spirit following us. That night, my dad slept with me. He used some branches with leaves covering my face as a blanket. He told me not to remove the branches, and if hear someone call my name, to not answer it even if it sounded like my mom's voice. I shook my head, yes. Then I knew what was going on. While we were sleeping, my dad held my hand. On the other hand, he had his Hmong knife wrapped in a red sash. He said, "Remember, if you hear someone other than my voice, don't answer." I shook my head that I understood. That night got really cold, but I wasn't cold at all. I could see somewhat through the leaves, and everyone was shivering. I heard a girl's voice calling my name, but I didn't respond to the voice. Then I heard my mom's voice calling me, and I almost answered it, but I remembered what Dad had told me. All of a sudden, all the men got up and sounded a little girl that no one recognized. Everyone had their Hmong knives wrapped in a red sash out and approached the little girl. She started to cry and wailed so loud it was deafening. She said she looking for her brother and mother. The men didn't care. They surrounded her, then started stabbing her. I could see the blood coming out of the little girl's body. Once the little girl was dead, the men started to chop her into pieces. Then the weirdest thing happened. All her body parts transformed to animal-like body parts. The men said this part of the forest was haunted. Many kids and women went missing through other journeys that went through here before. After that night, I didn't feel the little girl's presence anymore, but my mother got really sick and passed away by the Mekong River. My dad had to make a choice who to save, his only son or his wife, and he chose me. My dad remarried once we got to Thailand and was happy again. But as for me, I lost my mom. I kept having reoccurring dreams of her visiting me. In my dream, my mom said the little girl wanted me to be her brother, and my mom to be her mom too. One day, I told my dad about my dreams, and he said she also was visiting him in his dreams. She was very angry at him for killing the little girl because she was the spirit of my unborn sister. The look on his voice explained it all. The pain and anguish of losing his wife and his unborn daughter. Later on in the week, we converted to Christianity because my new mom came from a Christian background. After that, my dad and I never had any more dreams of my mom. I still wonder, though, what if I had answered the little girl's voice? What would have happened?